pretty sure that's recording.
It didn't say.
I thought I heard it said it's recording. Yep, it's recording. Perfect. All right, good evening, everybody. Just a couple quick things to read before we get tonight's meeting started. First off, time being 6:36, or a few minutes behind schedule tonight. This is the Master Plan Committee Public Outreach for March 20th, 2024. Tonight's meeting will be held in the municipal building here in the Town Council Chambers at 355 East Central Street. A note to residents, all citizens are welcome to attend public board and committee meetings in person. And the meetings will also be live streamed by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29. Recordings of meetings are available on Franklin TV's Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel. And additionally, in an effort to maximize citizen engagement opportunities, citizens will be able to continue to participate remotely via phone or Zoom. The link to access tonight's meeting is on the agenda, or you can copy the URL below onto your website, or call in at 1-929-205-6099 and enter the meeting ID 84296-903396 and then press the pound. Again, the call-in phone number is 1-929-205-6099. Enter the meeting ID 84296903396 and then press pound. All right, so the first thing on our agenda for tonight is subcommittee reports. Kobe, I'll go to you first.
Community Services, Facilities, and Circulation Subcommittee just met right before this, and we spent most of the time talking about how we can be most prepared for this conversation about using Saturday as effectively as possible.
Perfect. Ultimately, of your meeting, did you guys come up with, say, poster boards and ideas that you're going to ultimately need for Saturday at all?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
We can have them. Be happy to share now, or have them be a later conversation.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. I'll do that later on. I just wanted to stress Amy, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, has just asked us to have whatever poster boards or media or anything that we need from her, from Bader and Barrett, to her as soon as possible, so they can print things out.
Yeah, we had already discussed this and put our thoughts into the group. We saw what Barrett had given back, which wasn't quite what we had put in the document, and so we were pivoting and sort of deciding what we liked, what we didn't like. And so we have a few options for the gang to discuss.
Okay. Thank you. Ken, over you for housing and economic development.
We met, similar conversation, we met last week, just looking very quickly at what Baden Barrett put forward. We have far too many slides, far too many boards that they're putting forward. And so we'll want to figure out how we either manage them or cull them out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have been working on just trying to solidify the goals and get that moving along as well.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And Meg end up making it into.
I can't read it.
Let me see.
Can everybody tell if
I
Meg's
don't-
there?
No, she's not. That's okay. Janelle, land use and zoning.
Hi, we met on Monday, and prior to that, we had a community outreach event this past Saturday at the Winter Farmers Market, which was great. It was we had a light group of visitors coming to our table to give us input, but the ones that did were very thoughtful and engaging, and really liked to talk with us and liked that we were out and about. A lot of people at the farmers market are not Franklin residents, which is also an interesting thing to note, that people from other area towns come to the winter farmers market. So we felt that it was worthwhile, and it was really great to be there. And a lot of people that stopped by had already heard about this coming Saturday.
Oh, good.
So they were like, "You're here? We thought this thing was next week." And we were like, "No, it is. It's at Dean College."
That's funny.
So they were planning to come, and a couple people who hadn't heard about it, we were getting the word out.
Good.
So our Monday meeting, we spent talking about our takeaways from that event and then prepping for next Saturday.
Perfect. That's awesome. Glad things went well. I don't see Meg on Zoom at all, but open space, recreation, historical resources, etc. We met just this Monday, also at 7 o'clock. We had again a similar. Oops, I could be here now.
What did she say?
It says dominating. It says nope. Sorry. You know what? I'll let her talk. She'll be on in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll give her a couple minutes to come on. But just to let everyone know, we met again 7 o'clock on Monday night. The basic topic of discussion was ultimately what we hope to have for the open house on this Saturday. Again, I'll let her do the talking when she comes on. Oh, there she is, I think now. Jimmy did. Yes, please. Yep. Thank you, sir. Hi, Meg. Can you hear us all right?
Hi, yes, I can. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? I didn't want to speak for you, but I just gave everyone a synopsis of what we did on Monday. If you wanted to give an
Perfect.
update for the open space and recreation and historical. there's
Yeah,
any-
if you gave everyone an update, I'm good with that.
Yep, all we really spoke about, like I said, was what we're gonna do on the 23rd. Added some
That sounds-
questions to that list.
Perfect. Thanks, Glenn.
So, thanks for joining us. All right, so I think
No
we've got
worries.
everyone here.
Do you know?
Gino, I'm gonna give me a second.
Okay.
And sustainability?
We have a meeting scheduled for Monday night with Facilities Director Mike D'Angelo,
Okay.
so we're moving on that, and we are pretty well set for our boards for Saturday. And we plan to add a little trivia quiz as part of our table as well.
Cool. That sounds like fun. All right, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, good. Now we'll move on to our second and largest topic of the evening, open house and open house planning. Jill, I think I'm gonna throw over to you really quickly, just to kind of give an update from your end. And then, or if you have any questions specific before I bring it back to the members.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. So an update, I think everybody has seen, hopefully the materials, the draft posters that were shared. Since the last March 6th Master Plan Committee meeting, there was a small group of volunteers who have been meeting as a working group, along with Amy and myself and colleagues at Barrett and Beta, to kind of drill down a little further to the specifics and the details for what was needed or what was desired for the different stations of the open house, recognizing that each committee has some unique things, and then wondering if there should be, a thread of similarity as well. But definitely looking to finish this up, fine tune it. We got to a point where we just kind of wanted to provide things for the committee members to react to. As I know, sometimes it's hard coming up with stuff from scratch. So there's been a mix of from each different committee, and I'm here to listen to the reactions from all the different members and committees, and we would like to be able to get things to the point that you want them, knowing that time is limited. And I agree with Ken in that we have a lot of materials, and the idea was to show you a breadth of things, but I do think there's going to need to be some decisions about what the top things are to put around the room, and maybe we still create them all or print them all, but put some to the side if not needed, or if not the highest priority to get engagement on at that time. So again, I'm here to listen and answer any questions you may have, but I'm definitely excited to hear your feedback. Whatever it is, we just wanted to share some things we've done, tried to work off that spreadsheet that people did end up doing a great job of populating with as much detail as maybe you could at the time. But you can throw it back to the chair here and go around to the
Thank you,
different
Jill.
subcommittees and, you know, hear what they have to say. Thank you.
So Jill, in response to your comment, there's a common saying I use in my line of work doing electrical work is, I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. So in this case, having too much information is always, is a good thing. That'll give us plenty of information to use, or we could change things up as we go along during the day. So I'd
Yep.
rather
Right.
have it than not. So
Great.
we've gone through these efforts, we've managed to get a nice list here for the open house activities that everyone's partaked in. Thank you very much to the people who have. And we have a lot of great ideas. We have a lot of good things on our list to do. I think ultimately now what it boils down to is if any one subcommittee or has a poster board or graphic or something specific that they would like Jill and Amy to work on between now and Saturday, we've got a limit, basically a day and a half tops to get anything done. So does
We
anyone-
kind of, yeah, we just kind of have tomorrow morning.
just
They'll
tomorrow?
need to be
All right,
printed.
so just
Yeah.
all right, that simplifies it. Tomorrow morning, Kobe.
Okay, just to get us started, I'll start with the community services and facilities and circulation. By the way, I appreciate very much all the work that went in. I think they look very sharp and were responsive to what was put in. Okay, so CSFC wants to do two main buckets, one around circulation, one around services. Around circulation, the request originally was for a map that allowed one to put sticky notes, with the sticky notes color-coded to be like driving, walk, bike, and other forms of transportation, where you would comment on the map. You know, the question would be like, where is it difficult to move around Franklin, or where do you feel unsafe moving around Franklin? And you would, you know, grab the driving one, put it on an intersection, and say, you know, this light is difficult, or you'd say, I wish there was a sidewalk on here. The problem, the fear is that it'd be too many sticky notes. What you guys have done was just focus on walking. Where do you feel safe, unsafe walking? And you just did dots, positive or negative. We don't hate it if that like has to be the move. But the big ask, and maybe this is more general, is whether this could be one of the stations that we use a digital tool and allow people, because the difficulty is going to be the amount of information that we're asking people to put on a map. Can we set up a laptop, a screen, and allow people to use unless people know other software, the free software that's already somewhat populated, Plan Together, it's basically just that. It's just a sticky noting on a map. It allows you to put a dot, comment on if the comment's already there. That would be the ideal, because that allows us to sort of do everything, visualize it in a map, allow people to zoom in without it being too crowded. I'd be open to, I'm wondering whether you think that's feasible.
You said yourself that this is already something that's already populated that we can already continue to purpose, correct?
Yeah, the question is really, do we have, and do we have permission to use a laptop and screen?
Yes.
Okay.
1000%. In fact, I checked with the facilities guy. I've been working with Chris over at Dean. There is power, and I can run out cords and get power to wherever I need. I'm actually going to be bringing in one of my TVs I use for instructing, and it comes with the Bose speaker, and it's about this big, and we can set up a laptop behind it as my laptop, your laptop, whatever, and we can actually use that as an interactive media board, where I can grab a projector from work and actually set that up as well if we wanted to project something onto a board or wall or something like that. I can definitely make that happen.
Okay. I'm aware that by suggesting this, others may also want, and so that might be the question about how many screens. If we only have so many, is this going to be the one? So I'm open to coming back and saying, actually, maybe circulation isn't the best use if we have a limited number of screens, but that's the ideal, would be that circulation activity. And then for services, this was a separate conversation. So we had proposed the idea of having different service improvements and letting the residents get a certain number of tokens and drop them in the buckets relative to those service improvements. What was added and where it ended up sort of getting shifted to was the idea of having it be a full exit survey for everyone, that you've heard all these, which buckets, which large sort of categories would you then throw your tokens in. We have a backup activity if that is, if you want to steal that activity for an exit survey, then we can give you a different activity for services. But I would put a pitch in, and again, this is really to the group, that I think it's very, very difficult at a large level to use the token scheme. I really, really like the idea. I heard it and thought, amazing, what a great exit idea. It sort of pulls everything together. The more I thought about it, the less I liked it, because it's pitting large concepts against each other that might not be against each other, and we might not actually be getting that much information, right? Housing and sustainability and commercial, right? Like a certain housing policy saves open space, and that is sustainable, and it's a false sort of dichotomy by separating them at that level. That would be my fear, as opposed to, okay, we have a certain number of services, we actually can only use $1 to put it into either road maintenance or expanding early education. So I would make a pitch for that being in our group, but I'd be open to other people's thoughts. Anyway.
As far as, excuse me, as far as tonight's meeting is concerned, since this is kind of a general discussion about what our plans are for Saturday, I'm not gonna make this formal, so I'm just gonna leave this open to discussion. If anybody would like to chime in at any time in response or have anything they want to add, just go right ahead. I don't want to make this any more formal than it needs to
Sure.
in lieu of time, and since we have a lot to talk about in a short period of time.
One idea, Kobe, not knowing how the online tool, not necessarily the physical hardware to make it happen, whether or not that can happen, but the way that the tracking of information on an actual laptop is used for the public to achieve what you want, maybe that's still possible. One idea is I had, is to simply change the title of that board that you're talking to be more the activity that you were initially hoping for, where there's essentially a legend, a color-coded legend, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Getting at where you identify challenges or opportunities around certain things, whatever you want the question to be. I did have Amy get appropriate scale dots,
Yes.
quarter-inch size dots that will be,
Cool.
and they're all different colors. She did confirm that she bought them. I'm hoping
Yep.
she bought the ones I sent the link to. But so you could, in theory, just change the title of that board, and then you could even, I don't know
Yeah.
what Barrett has in the interest of time, like you could even that day like write in the legend on the board, depending on what the colors of the stickers are, to also have the physical activity. That way you're able to engage with the public, maybe on the board and on the computer, or like at least have more interaction physically that day.
Yeah, that part's easy. I think that once I know what the activity is, then I can go in and just make those simple edits, or I'm sure Barrett can, about wording changes in a legend. There were two questions that came up there. One is the idea of a sticker versus sticky note, with a fear that if we get enough people, sticky notes crowd a map
yeah,
very quickly. And so then, the idea that Erin had was, do we put a number on the sticker, and then you have a corresponding paper where, all right, sticker 1, and now here you're writing 1, here's my idea. It's not nearly as engaging. It doesn't let people respond to. It's hard, you don't really want to flip through this like notebook. So it's not as good, which was the benefit of the technology. I don't know, did you have thoughts on how you wanted to use the stickers, or is that why you went to just voting?
Visually, the
mechanism?
stickers at a glance show essentially a heat map, right?
Right.
Depending on density of where stickers are.
But that's a question more of where do you feel safe walking, as opposed to where do you have difficulty? Tell us why.
Right. So there's always the challenge with the scale of these maps, and being physically in person is the fact that any sticky note that's this size,
It's
like,
gonna
unless
blow
a
up.
map is massive, is gonna cover, you know, the entirety of downtown Franklin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in one sticky note, right? And that was the challenge I brought up with, well, we at least need to have, you know, 1/4-inch dots, and then the comments are recorded, you know, off
Comments
to the
recorded
side.
separately,
Or the
yeah.
stickies are just placed kind of all over off to the side to record the feedback. And then, oh, by the way, all the red dots mean places
Yeah.
people feel unsafe walking. All the pink dots mean people, or green dots, people, places enjoy, you know,
Yeah,
walking,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
So just a thought in terms of how much time we have versus what we already have created or purchased. We recorded, for what it's worth, I guess it was a little bit of trial, like seeing, being there in the winter market and having, we had the map of Franklin printed out. I don't know if the scale was the same, the board was 24 by 36.
Yeah. It's just-
It's the same, yeah.
But people just wanted to talk, and like they were scared to
Yeah.
touch the map or draw on it. So I would advise everyone, if you are doing stickies, to be really intentional about like, here are stickies, here's what you do with them. Please do it.
Yeah.
We also
talked
talked
about
about before people even come in, we're all residents. We should all do the activity, so there's something already pre-populated on the board, so
Yeah,
people
it's-
don't feel like it's precious and that they can't touch it.
Yeah.
But we found that kind of talking and almost translating onto stickies and sticking them up for people also was super effective, because people just, I think, were a little like nervous or reserved, or like didn't want to like just get down there and start writing. So it could be maybe like both and.
Yeah. I have thoughts. So this is the idea. I do think that this is true. If anyone's ever done, public stakeholdering like this, yeah, people are very nervous to like actually add the sticky note. And what ends up happening is you're tempted to be like, oh, I heard you. I'm going to write it down. I think what I would, at a small setting, at like a farmer's market, I think that that's very sustainable and you get it there. I think I would encourage people, sort of universally, to encourage them to write it on. We're trying to create a culture where people are just doing it, and I think once we get that culture, then it starts being. But if we set a precedent early that we're going to be the ones writing for you, and you have to just be talking to us,
Yeah.
I think that becomes unsustainable quickly.
And besides,
Yeah,
it's
that's
more
true.
fun when it's interactive like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're,
Hey,
when
that's a
they're-
great idea.
when
Can you
they're
write that down on
engaging.
this
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
note for me and stick it up on the board?
It's
Thank you.
engaging. We want to engage them.
Or you just have them write on the board,
Yeah.
right? It's just, you don't need a sticky note, you just write it on the
Just-
board, just go up to the board, start writing down what you want, what you have to say.
Well, and that's, excuse me,
Go ahead.
through the chair.
Yep, go ahead,
Ms.
sorry.
Jill, that's one thing that I put on the materials log or whatever at the bottom
Yep.
was, one question we probably wanna find out is who needs flip charts? Maybe everybody does, I know that takes up more space, but to give some thought to that of the open-ended recording information that people can see, what they've said and what others said.
Yep.
Kobe, I was wondering if I could please clarify two things.
Yep.
One, is there the hardware, the laptop or iPad already available? And are you saying that there's already a base map ready to go that you could, as long as you had a laptop or an iPad, you would be able to show people how to make marks on it to record the information?
Correct. I'd be happy to pull that up if that's helpful. I'd be happy to pull that up on the Zoom.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing that was expected from the town GIS department, because I know.
Nothing from the
Amy
town
said that.
GIS. No,
Okay.
I don't have, I mean, I could give you my laptop, but I'd rather the town supply a laptop. Brian, I don't know if that's a feasible ask. That the hardware is what I can't speak to, but the software exists.
Okay. The second thing is, when you were speaking about having different service improvements, for residents to give the tokens and which ones they would, prioritize or vote for, whatever the wording is, do you plan on making a poster or a sign for that, or is that something that you would like us to create based on information you give us?
Yeah, I guess I'm looking for like a thumbs up that we get that activity instead of it being a group
Understood.
one. If it's not, then I have a poster idea request for you. But if it
Okay.
is, then I don't know, the poster would be putting the question in big letters.
Okay,
I think you make a good
still,
point.
it's small and we can do it, no problem, but all this stuff is good to know. Thank you.
Like if you basically just change that last board and change all the icons to be instead the facilities and services, or however you worded it,
Right.
to be that activity. I think that's, and then, you know, you could always end the exit with more of the open-ended if people want to add more.
Right.
If that's cool, then what I'm hearing is that my group can do a technology-based circulation one and a token bucket-based services. I can put that back in writing and make it clear to Barrett my expectations with high specificity.
Does anyone object to it?
It's good.
No, go ahead, Cody.
Wait. Thank you.
No,
That's it from me.
you're welcome. So I'll throw it to any of the chairs who have any specific questions. I think, Gino, you said you're pretty much all set on,
Yes.
on sustainability
For boards
for
and
boards or activities
and
or
activities, yes.
or anything else that you may need. Ken, as far as housing and economic development,
Yeah, I think I agree that we'll take all the boards to print, but we'll manage which ones we put up when we ask those questions.
Okay.
I also do like the notion of buckets and coins and that sort of stuff. We'll take care of that.
okay.
So for housing and economic development, I don't know if you happen to see, Ken, but I populated the ask, and that's somewhere where Barrett got their slides from.
Yep.
Based on our conversation. So 2 different activities
Yes.
for housing and economic development. Around housing, the ask and what they put together somewhat differently, but I like the thought in giving us options. One was around an explanation around missing middle housing and the ability to visualize different types of housing. Would you like to see, I would change that to like, would you find appropriate or feels like it fits in Franklin? I would just word that a little bit differently. But that's one of them. And it seems like the thought was like, okay, we're going to explain all these different things. We're going to explain what duplexes are and what, I think based on your first reaction, that like, we might not need to do that. It kind of is explained by seeing it. And by seeing the big graphic next to it, it kind of explains them, and maybe we just have.
Sure, they're
the
too
explanation.
content heavy, of course, but I'm assuming that human beings standing there will be able to talk to each other about it.
Right.
Overall, so, including changing the wording, but I think they're fine.
Could-
But they are
do you
too
think there's
content heavy and too many.
Like, could the missing middle housing, I mean, shouldn't it just be one board? Like,
I
there's 4 boards there, right? Like, could you,
It sounds like
Could you
just
pick
10 and
one?
11 are going to be sufficient,
but aren't they saying the same thing?
or just 11.
Yeah, I guess
Or
that's my point,
sorry,
like-
9 and 11. Yeah,
Right.
explain it.
And do you think people are gonna, like, number 9, that is a lot of text. I
Maybe.
mean,
Yeah.
that seems like the wrong approach to in-person engagement, is just like that much text. Like, when you showed number 10, just in and of itself, like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get it, without any text at all, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, they're, you know, we're not gonna do high-rises or mid-rises. Single family isn't, you know, what we're talking about here. We're talking about all these things, you know, what's appropriate for Franklin, without saying
Yeah.
anything, you know?
I'm not super afraid of passive education. I hear the thing, and if that's where, I'm not super afraid of like us just like having information on boards that like if you happen to be waiting for your turn at the activity, you're reading something like that doesn't scare me from a point of like overstimulation. I think that's sort of how like classrooms work. But I hear the point.
Maybe it could be like a takeaway, like just a 8.5 by 11 or an 11 by 17 at the table.
Yeah,
If someone wants to take it and read more about it,
yeah, I like
It's a
that.
good idea. And you could even put the picture on the diagram, the number, which I think is really effective, number 10, on the piece of paper, so people
Right.
will grab it and read more about it themselves. And then I even for 15 and 16, when you think about typical visioning exercises, the visual part of it, I mean, those, again, could all be just one board.
Right.
Right, because you risk otherwise, like when you think about this in person, if someone's looking at one board,
Right.
they might not get to the second board, or vice versa, to
Yeah.
realize that, oh, they're supposed to be looking at all 10 of these.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. We want to keep it simple.
not just 5.
Right.
You know, usually when we do visioning exercises, it's like one board,
Yeah.
and it's yes, no, I like this, and you could put the comments off to the side, or the green dot, red dot.
Yeah, I think I hear the point. This is going to be true for others, which is why I think it's okay to spend some time talking about it like conceptually like this. I think that we're like separating areas around, and so like here's our economic development station. If there are two boards
Yes.
that clearly look the same, then all it does is like allow people to like move around. It just gives people like more access to it. Like that, again, that doesn't scare me. I hear it. Yeah, we could do it on one board, but as someone who's done, I mean, you've probably done more of the visioning things like it, but I've taken part in those like architect-led visioning sessions, and it's pretty regular where you'll be like, oh, here are some possible ideas for the common area, and there are two boards right next to each other that clearly are just a bunch of different pictures of common areas. They just couldn't fit them on one board.
As long as they're literally
Literally right
almost
next to each
like
other and
read
formatted the
as-
same.
Read as one continuous big
Yeah,
board,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Then yes, if they are separated at all, then you're gonna get people going to one, and then the next, and then they're like, oh, wait, I didn't realize this was one of the 10.
Of course,
You
of
know what
course,
I mean?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Not to break this discussion, but if you guys need something that needs to be printed out definitively, we need to kind of get that done no later than tomorrow. So if we want to add that to the list for Jill.
I think everything that we just talked about, so yeah, again, 2 exercises right now that's being proposed from Housing and Economic Development, although I would defer to the chair. One around housing is adding dots to types of middle housing that types that you like, and one around economic development, different places that you like to spend time outside of Franklin. There are 9 examples. I would add a really clear example, or at least a bucket of places where you can write on new ones, like make a sticky note and just tag it, and then you could put like a dot if you already see your sticky note there. I gave you 10 that I think are popular, but I want to be open to like really having missed one.
All right. Meg, you had your hand up, I'm sorry. Good.
Just wanted to share my comments on natural cultural and historic
Yep.
resources, but Kobe, if you want to finish up what you're doing first, I can wait.
I guess I would again defer to Jill,
Jill?
and the chair to make sure that like that made sense.
Jill? Can you hear it? No, you're muted, Jill, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. For economic development, the activity of the photos and labels of places you like to spend time, and then adding a place where you can, add another place, like in case the examples that were given didn't capture it all.
Yeah.
Is that I'm asking? Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
might be as simple, if you're gonna keep the same 2 slides, although open to putting it on one, it might be as simple as sliding over 9 and 10, having a blank space where, with a header that says, any others, or, and just letting them put their stuff.
Yep. Okay. That sounds great. And then for housing, did we want to make slides 9 and 10 into a handout and then use slide 11?
I think so.
Ken?
Okay.
It is fine. There will be human beings there. Yeah, they'll be able to talk to people.
Yes.
People will be milling around. Not everyone's going to go through this in an order.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming
Right.
that the human beings there can facilitate the
Yep,
conversation.
they will definitely be able to.
And
Very good.
can point you to a handout if you'd like one.
Just a quick note to everybody, and Meg, I'll get right back to you on this. I apologize for interrupting you. Just to let everyone, I have a general floor plan for the area, and I actually have it mapped out here. The whole room just by way of explanation, is roughly 35 feet by 40 feet long. The gentleman at Dean is going to be supplying us with 5 8-foot tables. Those are going to be the subcommittee tables for the members to purpose their materials on. There's going to be 3 6-foot tables. One is basically a reception table, so people come in and register and sign in, and we kind of guide them into the place. The other one was going to be kind of a middle table that was going to be almost like our welcoming table, where people could come in and meet me, and I can give them information on what a master plan is, where we are, where we're at, where we're going, and then they can break off and go to the 5 tables. Now I have the 5 tables, 2 to the left and 3 to the right. So if you walk in the entrance, 3 to the right, they don't have to be in this order. This is just something I laid out. Was housing and economic development, and then I had community services, facilities, and circulation, and then I had sustainability to the right on 3 8-foot tables. And then to the left, there was land use and zoning, and then open space, recreation, historical, cultural resources to the left. The reason there are 2 to the left is because there's an exit sign or an exit on that wall that kind of impedes that. And then on the back of the room, there is an exit, and then to the right of the exit, that's where another 6-foot table is going to be for refreshments and everything else that Dean College is generously donating for the event. But my thought, and this is just something to kind of throw everybody as far as the flow is concerned, is that the main entrance on 60 School Street, which is why I've been advertising it this way, is the entrance that is next adjacent to the gym. So that when people walk in, they're going through a double door, and it actually walks into this fairly large, vast space, and it's really a useful space to walk through, and then ultimately they can exit the other side. So it actually creates kind of a great traffic pattern where people come in on 60 School Street and then exit on the other exit out onto the main center of the school. So instead of backtracking out the way they came in, they can leave in one direction, just as far as traffic flow is concerned. So if anyone, if you want to change things up as we get there to Saturday, if something's more conducive to go in a different spot, let me know. We're easy to adjust. But turns out we can't actually set up on Friday night simply because the space is highly trafficked and it's not secured. So we don't really want to put any TVs or laptops or any materials that could be manipulated in the space until at least Saturday morning. Yes, sir.
Now, I would not mind if people went out the way that they came, because while this is happening,
Yeah.
there will be an exciting men's volleyball game
Yep.
going on. And if you've never seen collegiate men's volleyball, it is pretty exciting. It's fun. They dance during timeouts. That's the kind of thing that happens. So it would be perfectly okay with us if people exited the way they came in and went to the volleyball game as well.
Perfect. And then we'll
And by the way, that those volleyball folks come on into this as well.
yeah, I would love that. All right, then we'll just leave it open for
I
that.
was just gonna ask, where's the dunk tank and the magician? that you were gonna have?
That's out in the
Get
quad.
people interested.
That's out in the quad.
I just heard a volunteer for the dunk tank.
Yeah.
I know you're volunteering. I'm sorry, Meg. Go right ahead.
All good. So just as far as the natural, cultural, and historic resources slides here, so I'm on slide 4, Jill. I think since we're including slide 5, we can take off the left side of that slide. Then now that we have the CPA, what historical and natural preservation projects should we prioritize? I think we just get rid of that and keep the question to the right. And if it's wide open like that, I don't think we use sticky notes. We just leave it. Please tell us your thoughts on the following question. And people can just write on that board instead. I think that will be a more effective use of that question there. And then on slide 5, I know we had requested having the definition of CPA funds on there, but I think it's not going to leave us enough space for that feedback. So I think we maybe take that out, and can we just get a printout of that we can have on the table if anyone has questions on what CPA funds are? And that will expand the table over and leave people more space to actually put their little sticky notes to vote on which resource they'd like to protect. And otherwise, can we just change the coloring on that first line so that it looks like the public library as like a separate item, being the darker blue. Just changing the formatting on that, I think would be great. And then I don't know, my subcommittee's thoughts on it, but as I've been sitting here kind of thinking about it, do we want like a little map on the table that just shows where all of these historic resources are in case people don't know? They may not know the street, like the name of them, but may, know them as a visual. I don't know if that would be helpful or not. Does anyone have thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Love it.
I agree. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a map of where they are or like just a quick like page with an image, or like a small image of each of them maybe. Just a visual for everybody before they vote on it.
I think that's a great idea. Does anybody know if a map like that exists in the open space and recreation plan or not necessarily?
That's a good question,
One
Joe.
does
I don't
exist.
I don't know if it's in the OSRP though, like an
Yeah,
actual map.
the last
know we have
master
the-
plan, actually, your inventory and assessment probably has a historic resource.
I think so. Yeah, we have the Macris data from the state. Okay. We'll do the best we can. My only concern is that we'll probably be missing something, because you guys know the town better, and I'm not sure we're just, as good as the data in that layer from the state, but we have the historic, that lists objects and sites
Yeah.
and things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Meg, just
Jill.
to clarify, yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, if on a map, if you put something together and send it to me, I can take a look at it before you finish it up, okay?
Brian, that sounds great. We'll do that.
Thanks,
And
Brian.
also, there was the concept of a printout. Is it the printout of slide 5? Is that what you're looking for, or something like that?
Of just the right-hand block on slide 5, that is just what is the CPA. So just a
Okay.
little quick snippet of what the CPA is in case people have questions on it. And if,
Okay.
I'm engaged in another conversation, it's just, a quick, easy read on the table.
Okay, sure.
Thanks,
It's
Brian.
easy.
Perfect.
And then Meg, could you just clarify the other items that you said? I have the slides up.
Okay, yep, so on slide 4, I think
Yes.
slide 5 covers that first question to the left.
Okay.
So I think we remove that.
Okay.
And just keep the question to the right on our best way to reach everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
since it's just going to be one question, I think we would take out the sticky notes and just have, please tell us your thoughts on the following question. Or we
Yep.
can even take out that, and then people can just write on the board.
Right. And we can still have sticky notes just in case, not that
Yeah.
there'd be a crowd per se, but if there's 5 people there, it's hard all to get to the board, but they can write it,
Yeah.
3 feet away and then post it.
Right.
But I understand what you're saying and that sounds good.
Perfect. And then on slide 5, if we just remove that right-hand block that says, what is the CPA, extend out the right-hand column of the blue table there, that will give people more room to vote, and I think that would work.
Yes, and I think the way you're seeing it is through as a Google slide versus a PowerPoint. For some
Yeah.
reason, the Google slide tweaks the formatting a little, so we just have it as a white table.
Excellent.
But I
Perfect.
noticed it today that
Yes.
it went to the blue also.
Oh, white
Um,
sounds great.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
That was it from me. Thanks, Glenn.
No, thank you, Meg.
While we're looking at slide
Okay.
5, because I'm looking at it too, there's a
Yeah.
typo, Arthur W. Pierce is misspelled. And
Thank you.
then I'm gonna speak for Gino and say, can we change the where it says Red Brick Schoolhouse to Brick School?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't catch that.
To Bricks,
That's
just
our
Brick
official name.
School.
Just Brick School.
Brick School?
Is the official name.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's listed differently in different reports and data sets, so
Sure
it's
is.
Of course it
confusing.
is.
But we're going.
Yeah, just like we have
Like
16,
the
school is.
That's what we're
Just-
doing.
just
We're
like-
for the
just-
right one.
Jill, just like we have 16 town logos. It's just like, which one?
But
So-
And
Brick
Pierce-
School is
it-
definitely the official name.
We're
and the-
putting a stake in the ground and we're calling it Brick School from here on
I'm
forward.
here for it. Is Pierce P-I-E?
P-I-E-R.
P-I-E.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I got it.
got it? All right.
Thank you.
So
Thanks, Janelle.
I have, so that leaves me with one question, one general question to the group. Power needs and easels. In total, how many easels do you think I need to get us? Because I can, like I said, they're kind enough to let us borrow up to 54. I don't know, obviously don't need 54,
54.
but I just need a number, so I can let them know.
Oh, it's for like student poster sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
How
any,
many posters?
I'm just throwing this out to everybody. How many do you think you're gonna need per table? I mean, if you,
CSFC needs
We'll need-
two.
so two,
We'll need 4.
easels.
you need 4. So that's
Yeah.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4,
We'll take 4.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So up to 10.
I have 2 already, but I would take a third one.
All right. So that's good. That's 11.
Huh? How many do we need?
I'll probably need 2 for the main entrance, so I'll add 2 to that.
Yeah.
Just have them load off 54.
Extra writing.
I am gonna have them bring extras. I'm just trying to get a general head count.
I have 2 and maybe,
Oh, 4 minimum.
yeah, maybe 3 more,
3 more?
just in case. I was thinking we could put one on the windowsill behind us,
Yeah.
you know, sort of up and back as a reference, but might as well have the extra.
Where is the? I'm not going to my apartment.
So
Oh,
there's,
those are 11 by 17.
there's a section of info boards
Mhm.
and there's a section of maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many maps we need. We needed,
Um,
to out.
what I have already printed, I have the sort of, the foundation pyramid of what we're doing. That diagram is on one board. I have the zoning map, that's on one board. Oh, I did have a question, Sustainability Committee asked for a zoning map. So you're gonna have that at your table also?
Yes.
Okay,
There's no there's no.
there's a
there's no-
legend.
There is. Oh, it's
Yeah.
very small.
Okay. So you're thinking an additional 4?
3,
3? I'll do 4 just in case.
okay.
So that gives me 15, 16, 17. Ultimately, I will say 20, just to round it up. So, all right, I'll let them know, 20. And then what I'll do, folks, is I will bring a cord and a power strip to each location. I mean, you're gonna need to charge your phones anyways. So I'll bring power to each location just so you have it. If you use it, use it. If you don't, you don't. I do that all the time anyways, so.
Glenn, are you counting, like, there's the welcome board and where there is some other miscellaneous, you know,
There was the
define
Thrive, you know,
thrive, right?
right.
Well, yeah, we also don't want to be over cluttered either. I
Right.
mean, if we had 20 boards in that space, that's probably more than enough. I mean, I
Yeah.
need basically just one for the entrance. It's gonna basically have, you know, our slogan, you know, from, you know, Warren Frank to the future. That's gonna be our main board at the beginning, and it's with the, in registration table. Other than that, there's really not much more that's needed for
Yeah.
registration. The welcome table, is just basically gonna have materials on it. It may be with just another easel, but ultimately that's really just 2. One for the registration, one for the thing. I don't really think I need many more than that. Mainly because the majority of the subcommittees are gonna have the larger maps to be interactive with, so there's really I don't see any need to add anything further to add to the confusion of the space. As Ken puts it, they're more than capable of being interactive with us. So, but just for purposes of having what we need, I'll ask for 20. Sound good?
Yep.
Anyone think I'll need any more? Okay. Like I said, I'll get everyone power. I'll get some cords. From what I've been told, there's 3 receptacles on each side. so I'll just extend out some extension cords. I'm not going to really run any power towards the middle, simply because I don't want to have any tripping hazards in the space. So most of our power needs will be behind or underneath our tables. So, unless anyone has any special needs that they want for in the middle. You know, if Meg wants to bring in some climbing walls and we want to light it or something, no, I'm just kidding.
Do we not end up with any kids activities?
Ah,
Yeah.
great question.
Volleyball game.
Yeah, there's a volleyball game.
Well,
going,
yeah, but then the parents would just send their like kids in there without the parents, right? We had put on the activities log, because I'm sure the library or somebody has cartoonish, like just 8.5 by 11 black and white Franklin kids coloring pages. That was my question to the little party planning committee, like washable, like Crayola markers, and a table without a tablecloth that's low enough. They can just stand at it, but it's something to do while parents like mill
No,
around
it's
the
a valid,
room.
that's a valid point. Thank you. That's very good.
So I don't know where those resources live. Somebody at the town, I assume, would know.
Callie.
Definitely
would-
Callie. But that would be awesome if we could just have that kind of in the middle too.
Yeah.
Even maps.
Excuse,
8.5 by 11 with maps. Kids
Good,
love to
Jill.
draw on maps.
Yeah.
did we talk about land use and zoning yet? Did that committee have any feedback on their materials?
Janelle?
Yes, so we have the question board, which is the same questions we pretty much asked at the night we were in here, which I think is fine. And then for our activities, there is a large land use map. And let me pull up the activity log. Where we want to ask people, and maybe we need to add the question to the map, or we can even, make it a separate legend. But we're gonna have colored dots, and we wanted to say, where do we need to have things like housing and commercial, and where do we want to have these? Where should they be in 2035? And so, as Jen said, she asked for the 1/4-inch size dots. And we have the big map already. I think we just need to come up with a legend for it. And we haven't seen the dots, so we don't exactly know like what colors they're coming in. So
Yeah,
that might be a day of.
Yeah, I think we draw the legend on it. I guess the
Yeah.
question is one map enough? I'm just still worried. Are these boards 24 by 36? Or are they 30 by 40?
24
Jill?
by 36.
Where does it say that? Oh, you're
Right
right.
at the top.
They
Can it
can,
be 30 by 40?
I think they can be any size, but I need to defer to Brian to find out what size the poster boards are, 'cause they have
I
the poster
believe,
boards.
I believe Amy bought 24 by 36
Four.
boards, and that, I don't think she bought larger ones, so.
Yeah.
Two of them? I think we should have two of them.
Okay.
Because that's like the majority of our activity, other than just people writing. Or
Right.
just in case if one gets like super full of the dots. Or,
Yep. The other one, we have zoomed in maps of certain areas of town. And this is almost like in the question, on the question board, one of our questions is what areas do you think we should focus in? And we could have these 11 by 17s out on the table if we want to say, this is the crossing, right? So we'll have things for people to be able to look at. This is the Hayward Fisher area.
Here's a question. Should we have one 24 by 36 of the whole town and one 24 by 36 of this downtown crossing instead of just 11 by 17.
Oh, that's
You
a
know
good
what I mean?
idea. That's a good idea,
Yeah.
because when, at the farmer's market, when we asked people, we thought, the dots are too big for people to put dots. They'll just cover up the whole downtown. So we asked people to draw on the map. And the one person that we could engage to actually draw on the map just drew everything all in downtown. So I think that's a great idea, Jen. What if we have the downtown and the crossing as our second big board?
Yeah, the 24 by 36, yeah. I don't think we need the other three. Forge Park, Hayward, East Central.
Yeah, looking at them now, it's
Yeah,
like, I don't know
they're
what it
not-
tells us.
There's not enough like good graphic information on there, I think, to even have it be meaningful for the public.
Mm.
So I would suggest we focus all of our energy. We could still, I still think it would be beneficial to have 8.5 by 11s printed out of the town of Franklin in the downtown crossing area if people want to take them as handouts, but like to have those two as big 24 by 36, and then the third kind of open-ended board.
Yep.
I don't know what you think. Other people on? Joe, Bruce,
Sounds good to
Gino?
me.
I missed what the activity is.
Putting, like, we need these things in Franklin, commercial development, middle housing.
They're each gonna
they're
correspond with
the
the color. You're-
Put it on the
Yeah.
map where you think it should be in Franklin.
Got it.
Not giving them the choice that we need it
Sure,
or
sure,
not,
sure, sure.
but, I mean, they can
Where-
tell us their opinion, but where
Where
are
would-
you putting it?
Where would you
Yeah.
put it?
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Meg, did you still have your hand up? I'm sorry.
Like one rental.
Yeah.
I do, just
Yep.
had a quick idea for a kid's activity if Callie doesn't have any easily accessible coloring pages for Franklin, but we could just use like a free coloring page of a ladybug and have a printout of the maps of the ladybug trail. So then they have an activity to go do afterwards.
That's a good idea. I knew you and Erin
can
would be
also-
full of
Yeah.
kid activity ideas.
No, that's good.
Yeah, so I mean, I can grab a coloring picture if I can send it to someone to print, if we want to do that, or if you want to see if Callie has, Franklin specific options first, but
Yeah, I have, Meg, on that, if you want to send me, something I can print whatever amount we need, that's fine. I'll
perfect.
talk to Callie because I think she does have a variety of things over there. And I also have in my office, the cultural district is it's a graphic, it's not the actual map, but it's, we have black and white, so kids used to color on, we did events and stuff like that. So I can bring a stack of those or something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What do we want to, I didn't catch what you wanted to, are we doing crayons or are we doing something else? I'm trying to get a feel on that.
Something washable.
If we have a coloring sheet crayon, I think would be the best. It'll be
Crayons.
easiest to, yeah.
Non-toxic,
Crayon? All right,
easy
that's
to
fine.
do. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Brian, do you have access to the ladybug maps if Callie doesn't have, I'm sure she does, but if she doesn't and they decide to go that route? I know it's on their Franklin Downtown Partnership page. Maybe I can
Yeah,
talk-
I'll make sure, I
Sister.
get it. That's fine.
Okay. Kids love a good scavenger hunt, so.
Yep.
One other thing to note, I just remembered, Brian, when you were talking about your office, when we've had our couple land use outreach events, I grabbed a stack of the open space maps from the planning office. And
Okay.
just because that's
where
related
they
to
went.
land use, yeah.
That's where they went to.
Yeah, well, with Amy's permission, I didn't take all of them. She ran a print for me when I said, "Can I have some of
Sure.
these?" But Meg, that might be good to just have at your table because a bunch of people were like, "Ooh, this is great. Can I take this?"
Right.
And that was the whole intent,
Yeah.
is to like have a handout for people. So you should have a bunch of those.
That's a really good
too.
idea.
Yeah, we have a new update. GIS did an update on trails too. I might as well bring some of those.
That'd be awesome. Thanks, Brian.
All right.
Actually, my neighbors would like this.
Yeah. So, I have one more thing on my list that I need from the group, and that is a head count. I need to know who's gonna be there on Saturday. So I'll just go around. We need bodies, and I would love it if everybody could make it. I know some people have other things that they have to do on that day, so ultimately I'd just like to go around the room and see who's gonna be able to make it. Ken?
Yes.
Awesome. Rick?
Yep.
Awesome. Gino?
Yes.
Kobe?
Likely only the last hour.
All right, so. Last
I'll be running.
hour. You'll be
I'll try.
running. Mel?
No, I cannot make it.
Okay. Jen?
Yes. I don't know how long.
Okay,
I'm working out childcare now, but,
okay.
or they're just gonna be running the kids' table all day, including my 2-year-old, so.
It's okay.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Or you all are gonna take turns watching him. It's a little wild.
Eric was a yes.
And he was, okay, so Eric, thank you. Janelle?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Joe?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Bruce?
What are the hours?
11 to 3.
Oh, I can probably make some of those.
All right, so you're, you think earlier or
Before we
later?
come out, Ken.
Be there at 11, I think.
What time are you thinking, Bruce?
I don't know yet.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah.
That would be great. Janelle? I'm sorry,
Yeah, she
Megan,
said
it's a
yes.
late night. Megan?
Yes, I'll be there.
Perfect. Aaron?
Yep, I'll be there.
Miss anybody?
Or Beta.
Eric isn't here tonight, but he said he would be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I already
Yeah.
got Eric,
Okay.
I already got Eric down here. Now that,
And
good.
Chairman, myself and Lily Kramer will be there from Barrett, and Emily Farmer will be there from Beta. And I believe we're planning on being there the whole time, and I was wondering if 30 minutes before might be good in terms of in advance
Set up.
to help.
I apologize. Jill, you said yourself and who?
Lily Kramer
Oh, Lily, okay.
and then Emily Farmer from Beta.
And then Emily, okay.
Jeff is out of town, Jeff Maxtunis.
Well, that's unacceptable.
I agree.
Will a half an hour be sufficient?
Well, I wasn't thinking I was doing the whole setup, but I'm wondering how much, if we can help in a half an hour, or we can arrange to be there earlier too. I guess this is the time to discuss what people think.
Oh, I thought you were the only one that was gonna set all this up for us this week. Geez, I wasn't even gonna show up until 11. No, all joking aside. Would an hour be okay? I certainly don't wanna take away from anyone's busy schedule, but an hour would be okay. I'm actually gonna be there. I live 2 blocks from the place, so I'll probably be there early getting power set up. The tables will already be set up the night before. Cloths will be out. Yes, they will be covered. They won't be open tables. And I would have, huh?
Except the coloring one.
Except the coloring ones. We'll figure that
So
out.
we
Don't
need
think I
another
that on my
table.
All right, good point. I got that on my list.
Brian, are you planning on being in there, or do we need to coordinate with somebody on the committee regarding picking up the posters after their prelim?
I'm going to be there in the morning, and I will bring the posters and the supplies that Amy's left for us, or will be leaving. Some of the stuff hasn't even come in yet. Hopefully it'll be here. So Saturday morning, I'll be there, and I'll be there. I don't know, Glenn, when are you thinking? You were thinking about 9 maybe, or something along
Yeah,
those
9's
lines?
fine.
I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
I'll probably be over there around 9 or 8:30, just setting up power and getting
All right,
everything in.
okay, so I'll show up around 9
Yep.
o'clock or thereabouts
That's fine.
with the boards, and anybody else wants to show up, help put up easels and stuff like that, that's great. And I think what else do we need? That's about it. I'm only going to be there for probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm a member of another a nonprofit board, and I have a board meeting right in the middle of the day, so. But I can, if necessary, come back later on. Depends
Okay.
on, in the afternoon, so. So let me know what we're doing, Glenn, and I'll be happy to do what I need to do.
Okay, I appreciate that. And like I said in my email to you, Brian, if there's a lot of materials, and I know you guys get out on Friday at 1 o'clock, if I need to take some materials to my house, I can always store things at my house. But if you think you have the means to get everything there on Saturday morning, that would be great. If not, I can probably meet up with you and keep some stuff at my house.
Yeah, I'm planning on putting everything in my car the night before.
Okay.
And then I'll just drive there in the morning, so that's,
Perfect.
should be fine.
Good.
Through,
Yep.
we haven't talked at all about the exterior in
Yes.
terms of, helping people find where this is. I don't know if there are stanchions. I just looked at the weather. It's going to be pouring rain, unfortunately, which really sucks. Are we, there are very limited parking spots right at the entry. Are we indicating
No,
more?
I've been told that we can actually use Jones parking down at the end. I spoke with Eric over there.
Sorry, say that again.
Jones Park, not my house.
Oh, the big lot.
End of, like,
No, I know, but are
hillside.
we gonna clearly indicate that those few spots, for accessibility, we can't have people who have accessibility needs. There are 2 handicap spots right near the main entrance, but that's it, and then there's 4 other spots for campus there, but people are gonna try to park there. How are we monitoring, that, if there are a lot of people? I don't know, I guess I'm just a little concerned from a,
Shoulder zone, right?
safety perspective.
It is
No,
very
it's
nice.
a valid thing. It's a valid, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you, other than we're just gonna have to police it.
Right, so, okay, who, well, and also, like, as people are coming down the street, is it gonna be obvious of where they're going? I know that,
Well, one of the things that I can do is reach out to Dean and see if they have, and I believe you mentioned to me that they actually do have some fold-up signs.
like A-frame.
Like, like A-frames.
Say event. or
Right, but if
something
we
with
don't
an
have
arrow.
anything, like printed for
I can
the
print
sign,
something up from my house, that's,
that's waterproof.
yeah.
You got a laminator at your house?
I have a laminator
I
at
have
work.
lemonade.
Okay, alright, I don't know, I'm just bringing it
I
up.
laminate
It's
things at
more
work. Yeah,
stuff that
not a, I
we
don't.
Yeah.
Might
no.
not be
That's a
thinking
good
about.
idea.
I'll figure it out. That's not a problem. We'll make it work.
I
Between,
thought we should have
between,
the bulldog dancing outside on the street, but now that it's pouring rain, I don't know.
I've actually heard the
Yeah.
Bulldog's gonna be busy with the,
Volleyball
into,
busy
game.
day.
in the volleyball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And also, we've got we've got a new student visit day as well.
oh,
It's pretty busy, so
Wow.
there'll be a lot of cars parked and a lot of people there, and
Yeah.
campus is buzzing.
People gonna drive up and just drive away.
well, that's what I mean, nobody wants to stand out in the pouring.
But maybe we do shifts with a big umbrella.
We can't print out like a lawn sign? Says,
Yeah, well, where you gonna point them? Down in the parking lot, a quarter mile, 300 yards away, or 300 feet away?
I mean, if it's pouring rain, people should have umbrellas, right? I mean,
I agree with you, but listen, everybody thinks like that.
Mm.
but at least one that says,
Balloons
Open-
or something.
here's the entrance.
open house,
Yes,
open
yes,
house here,
yes.
parking here.
Something,
Yeah.
something to
Yeah.
catch people's attention
Right,
while they're
balloons.
going, oh, it's raining, where am I supposed
Yeah,
to go?
Yeah.
well-
Like like some balloons.
Yeah,
It's- I know, since the weather's going to be not so nice, that could be a challenge. But, I mean, I can definitely set up an A-frame with
A-frame with balloons,
with
without a
balloons.
human is probably enough at least to just catch people's eyes,
Yeah.
and like enter with
Oh,
a
it's
giant,
there.
giant
Definitely.
arrow.
It's gotta be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe I can pay off one of my kids.
That's what the volleyball game is.
Stand
Hundreds
outside.
of people
even,
go.
even
With a
if,
sign and spin it.
this
I'll have
might-
my son do it.
This
but,
might be
well,
a stretch, but from Main Street, we might also want a sign that points people down School Street to say Franklin Open House or whatever. I don't know. So 2 A-frames, one at the entrance, one at Main Street.
Yeah.
You know, like when they have an open house for real estate.
Right. If it was nice out, people might
I
be walking
know,
around,
I
they'll see
know,
the sign,
I
they'll walk
know.
in, right? Yeah.
Everyone do your little
And then one other miscellaneous thing, and I know Meg is patiently, I think, had her hand up now for a little while, that during the activity, maybe we can all be like mindful to take some photos
Right.
of the open house in
Right.
action.
Now, Franklin TV's gonna be there. Jill.
Do we
Take-
have
That's
someone
right.
that like
That's-
is decent at photography that would be willing to take photos?
I can
with,
throw it
their
out.
Camera,
Oh my lord.
so that we don't have to worry about it.
Who's our famous photographer?
I'm sure Steve Sherlock.
Vicario?
would do
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
I don't
well,
think it
that. I
volunteers.
always seem to.
Yeah.
he takes, you know, very good notes and. wonderful
Do we
photos,
have
but,
some
I mean,
funds for an amateur photographer? Okay.
So
Journalism,
it
photography,
looks
and
like my
team?
iPhone 13 is gonna have to take the cake for photographs.
High school student
Yeah.
can get some volunteer hours who likes photography.
We'll make it work, and Franklin TV will be there. Steve Sherlock will be there.
Great idea.
So we'll have some Franklin we'll have some Franklin Radio 102.9 there. We'll also have the cameras from Franklin TV. It'll be a well publicized event. All right. Are there? Meg, did you have your hand up for one thing? I apologize. I saw your hand up.
Nope, forgot to put it down, sorry.
Okay. Before we move on, I want to throw it by Rick, Joe, Bruce, Erin, the individuals who haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. If you have anything that you want to add or bring to the event, or anything that you think's been left out, or any ideas that you have that you want to throw into the mix.
This isn't my main focus on life, is setting up outreach programs. I'm just sitting back and taking notes.
Okay. just curious. Erin, do you have anything you want to throw in the hat?
No additions from me.
Perfect. Joe?
All set, thanks.
What's that? Rick?
I'm good. I think everyone covered the key points.
Kobe?
Yeah, my biggest question is just, do we feel, I'm not buying or showing up with anything. Do we feel as though the needs have been properly communicated, or do you need something else from the subcommittee chairs? I'm directing that to you, Brian, or Jill, about materials, content. For example.
Well, I was going to ask a couple quick
Go ahead.
questions.
Go ahead.
For one thing, we mentioned the need for a laptop. Is there going to be a need for more than one laptop?
Yes, I would say yes to that. Is it possible to bring two from the town hall, just in case? I'll bring my own.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But
Well, I
definitely-
have one, and I'm sure that we can find another one
Okay.
that can, as a loaner. So I'll take two in case we need it.
One of the things that came up the other day too was that Franklin TV, and I'll talk to Chris after this, may have some portable TVs at the station we might be able to set up as well. Chris, is that true? Do we have any portable TVs at the station?
I think so.
Okay, I'll check with Pete.
Yeah, check with Pete.
Will do. I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
That's all right. When we were way back when we were talking about the missing middle housing, there is a great handout already which we can print and bring quite a few of those. That way, if you don't want to focus on that one issue, you don't have to. But that's kind of a big issue in my mind. So I have a variety of different things that I'm making copies of, and crayons and all kinds of good stuff. But if any individual committee needs to remind me, send me an email on something, and that's fine. You know, send me a reminder directly to me. That way, I'm not going to forget your stuff. But I'm pretty sure I have it all. But we'll see how it goes. The other thing is, you want to know what color the dots are. I'll be happy to send an email out and with the list of colors if you want. That way you can.
Make a legend.
You know, that way you'll have knowledge of that going into it. You don't have to make last minute decisions on what's what or whatever. So,
Okay.
other than that, let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, Brian. Go ahead, Kobe.
Yeah, so one of them is buckets. I think we are proposing 13 buckets or jars. Has that already been, or is that-
13. So, all right. So So far, we had, I think we had 9 at the closing event there at one point. Is what Amy and I were talking about, and I think Gina was going to get us some
I have
mason jars or something along those
12,
lines.
I believe.
12 of them? Okay. Other than that, I did not know we needed it, but what else do we need? We need the same idea, more of that?
Yeah, and then something like at least 1,000 tokens of some sort.
Yeah, we have tokens. I don't know how many she bought. They're in the building already. I think we'll.
Gotta love Amazon.
I'll check on how many tokens there are.
Perfect.
But
We're proposing that each person gets 20, but if you need us to adjust.
And another way to,
okay.
I'm sorry, another way
Oh,
to
you're
get
good.
input, if limited, of getting buckets, jars, tokens, with this event being Saturday. Another easy way to get people's input is, like we've done with the housing, is kind of to number or letter the items and have people on a scrap piece of paper, put it in a voting box of what they like. That's another way to do it. Just throwing that out there in case the tokens just aren't
Yeah, I think
accessible.
yeah, the key there is that tokens could be anything your heart desires. It just needs to be a thing that gets dropped in a place. Those can be loose.
Yeah. All right. So I'll check to make sure we do have 1,000 or whatever it is that we have, and I'll see what I can do. As far as
I'll just note on the
additional jars,
tokens.
say, Dino, do you happen to have more mason jars around?
I can bring an extra mason jar or two. I've got some too. If it's the big size, we can talk
13
about
is
what
the
size.
number right now.
Because
And I
there's,
can-
because there's there's 12 categories and then an other,
Yeah.
right? And then we were talking in the meeting before this, Kobe, about having less tokens than categories. So you're a little bit forced
Yeah,
to
like, what's your best 6 places?
make a decision.
Oh, I guess I'd rather see people have more tokens than categories where they can add 3 to one and 1 to another, where they feel they're expressing the weight of their priorities as opposed to a checklist. One of my frustrations with the survey being that you can like all of these things, we're trying to get you to like some things more than others and have to reckon with that prioritization. That's why 20 more than 13 buckets, you get 20 tokens, you might throw 5 of them here, 1 of them here, 2 of them here.
There's budgets, Kobe.
Yeah, that's the point, yeah.
Kobe, can I?
We
Kobe,
have,
can
we
I
have a
ask you
limited
a-
token budget.
Well, we've already purchased them. If we had to, I don't know, do Amazon overnight or something, maybe we can get more. But
Yeah.
so regarding the survey and everything, I'm wondering, Kobe, are you the one that filled that out about like 6 different times those same answers? That way you kind of weighted it. I'm only joking, but some people actually do that. So I'm just,
I did not fill out the survey multiple times.
not you this time. Okay.
It's probably worth the ask, but no.
All right. So I'll check out the tokens, and anybody has an extra mason jar or whatever, we can do that too. All right.
All right.
Anything
So
else, everybody?
just to let everyone know, one thing I've just added to my list that I'll do is buy a couple of big bags of candy to put into bowls on the different tables, because there's no better attraction to places than candy. So I'll bring some. I'll go to BJ. Well, yeah, but the candy's good for people to pick, because that's all the
They can
years.
use them as tokens.
I was gonna say, those sound like tokens to me.
Yeah. Or we can use candy.
If
So I'll
you
bring-
run
I
out
don't know how many people are walking into the master plan open house and being like, you know what, I don't feel like participating at that table. Oh, they have candy? I'll go to that.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised.
You make them M&Ms.
Either
be the
way.
tokens.
We'll have something. All right. Is there
Individually wrapped.
anything? Hold on, Bruce. Jill, is there anything else that you may have questions on that you may need from us that you may have missed or hadn't had a chance to bring up?
Probably, but I think we're in good shape. I just wanted to know if there does come a question tomorrow morning when Lily, Emily, and I work on these. What's the best way for me to reach out to get clarification through Brian and Glenn to reach out to specific committee chairs or subcommittee
Sure.
chairs?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And Kobe, I saw that you're updating the Google slides. That's wonderful. I think the one
just
thing I'm not sure if you
commenting.
did it there. Yep. Then I think, are you going to provide the categories so we can make a poster?
They're in the comment.
Perfect.
I tried to give you
Mhm.
everything in the
That's-
comment. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're in great shape. Everybody has put a lot of thought and effort into this, and I think it's going to be a great event. So we'll work, tomorrow and coordinate with Brian and reach out if there's anything that we just aren't clear on.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Brian, did you have anything
Nope.
left on your end? No? Oh, that's it. All right, so on that note, no, hold on. Just so the public knows, please attend the Master Plan Open House. It is this Saturday, March 23rd, from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. The entrance to the building is at 60 School Street. Come by, enjoy some refreshments, mingle, learn a little bit about the master plan, and ultimately give us your input, because that's really what we're looking for here. Look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. Thank you so much to everybody for all of the hard work and diligent amount of effort you've put into this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bruce?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Need a second? Yeah.
Bruce,
No?
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
Gino,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Janelle,
Yes?
Eric's absent, Jen,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Erin,
Yes.
Ken.
Abstain. Yes.
Okay.
Non-debatable.
I'm like, what, why?
Present.
Okay.
There's one in every car.
Clerk, yes. Vice chair,
Yes.
chair.
Yes.
I think it passes.
Perfect. Good night, everybody.